Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Outside the Box Score. With me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. It's me, Mark Rowlands. We've got Braylon Noble in the house as well. Hi, Braylon.
Hi, Mark.
No Josh today. He'll be back next week. I will provide an update early in the show this time. I'm not going to wait until the end. I think pickleball's happening.
Okay.
Myers Creek is on board.
All right.
I was talking to Jordan Pollock yesterday.
Mhm.
Stopped by the lovely Syracuse location. And he's on board. I was like, Jordan, thinking about hosting a pickleball tournament. Do you want to get Myers involved? He's like, Mark, I've never played pickleball. I said, Jordan, neither have I. That's the fun part. We're going to get a bunch of overly confident people who all think they're the best pickleball players in the world. And we're going to have a blast. I know Josh, he may not be on the show today. He is working behind the scenes today, still trying to secure us a venue. He's going to be on the phone like all day doing that for me. So big thank you to Josh. And this is real.
Okay.
I want the people to know this is not just a bit. We are going to have a pickleball tournament. Myers is going to be involved. I'm going to get on the phone this afternoon with another potential company that would get involved, provide us a little breakfast.
All right.
May or may not be the breakfast that we just had, Braylon. So no free ads yet. But just a local donut shop, which is very good in making specialty donuts. I think that gives it away for the people. So we're going to see if they want to get on board. We'll have some breakfast. We'll have some beer afterwards. It's going to be a great time. Be on the lookout. Pay attention to my social media pages, the Score 1260 social media pages, because I'll get that information out to you all as soon as humanly possible. We are going to have a pickleball tournament. A lot of things to talk about today. First of which, I sort of don't want to talk about, because that's SU football.
Oh man.
They did it again, Braylon.
They did.
They get my hopes up. I come on the air. I make a big plea about how we're going to beat Clemson. This is the year. SU football's back. Then they lay an absolute goose egg. I mean,
In a year they could have won too. In the year, if any year
if
to get
if there's
Clemson, this would have been it.
if there was any year where I was, just knew that we could go out there and beat Clemson by 20, it was this year.
Yep.
Goose egg. Defense looked horrible. Offense just couldn't get anything going. That offensive line was outclassed every single play by the Clemson pass rush. And I didn't even think Clemson had that good of a pass rush. And it looked like the 85 Bears.
You going that far with it?
Well, against us, yeah. Also rip Dick Butkus. But they just outclassed us, outcoached us, which, in my opinion, it's not that hard to outcoach Dino Babers in a big game. But everything about it was just bad. The officiating was even bad. And don't get me started on that targeting that was overturned, which caused a fumble, and Clemson gets the ball. We are at a point in football. This goes for the NFL and college. This sport has been around long enough. We should have very clear definitions of what everything are. Targeting should be one of them. And there is a very clear definition. It's the crown of the helmet leading and making contact with the helmet of another player.
Yep.
That happened. And they called it a targeting. Then they go to the booth, and the replay guy's like, nah, that's not targeting. What? Do you know the rule? And don't even get me started on what it catches. And a forward pass has been around since what, the 50s?
Probably longer than that.
40s, whatever. We still don't know what a catch is. And that's more so in the NFL than it is in college. But no one knows what a catch is.
Because it's like make a football move.
What's a football move? Like it. You have possession. Yeah, take 2 steps. I'm fine with that. Stay in bounds. But it's like, well, what's a football move? If you catch it, take 2 steps, it's a catch. Should be that simple. But no, it's
Like a
football move. It's all football moves. You're playing football. If you're moving on a football field during a football game, it's a football move. Anyway. So I'm not even going to dwell that heavily on last game. Except for saying we looked terrible. Clemson was easily the better team at the JMA Wireless Dome last week. At least it was a good crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And that, it was probably 42, 43,000, like I said before, on the show, before the game. That's what I thought the crowd would be. And it was, and they were a loud crowd. Mm-hmm. It was definitely the Loud House on Saturday. But now we move forward to play a better team with a better quarterback, who Drake May hasn't been great this year. 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, which is very strange. On the road, why would I think that SU is going to do anything outside of lay another goose egg today?
I don't know. They haven't given a reason, but what if they do win? What if they pull it out?
It
Just
would
by some miracle.
That's a great word to use. It would be a miracle, and it would be the biggest win SU football's had since 2018. I would say that'd be the biggest win that we've had since we won 10 games. Mm-hmm. Because that would show me something. I said for multiple weeks, we got to see what this team is made of. Mm-hmm. Then they beat Purdue. They had the game against Army, and they looked good, and I was like, all right, I think we can finally say we know what this team is. Then they play Clemson. I have no idea what this team is anymore. I thought they were a really good defense and an offense that could move the ball and get creative. None of those things happened last week. The defense was bad. The offense was stagnant. I need them to show me today. 3:30 kickoff, by the way, against North Carolina at UNC. And just show me anything. Especially that the offense can still be creative. Because where was that creativity last week? It was gone. Mm-hmm. It's sort of what this team has become. You don't expect Garrett Schrader to go out there and throw the ball 50 times for 350 yards and 4 touchdown passes. That's not the type of quarterback he is. So you got to get creative when you don't have strict pocket passer. And last week it was just nothing. I just don't know anymore. I thought I had this team figured out. And what do? As soon as I go on the air and say they're good, they're going to win this game, they rip my heart out again, like Syracuse football does every single year. This is why I say I try not to care this much about this team, because it's the same thing year in and year out. Maybe they do go into UNC and shock the world and beat North Carolina. Probably get them ranked or close to it. Mm-hmm. Because UNC is what? 13th or something?
Like yeah.
13th in the country, I want to say. Yes, or 14th. 14th in the country. So you might, get them 20. SU might be 25th when we look up at the next AP poll, but
I think this would be the time to get it, because I don't think they're getting Florida State next week.
No.
So this would be the time to get a win.
Yeah, this is as big of a game as they've had all year. And UNC is a 9.5-point favorite. And based on last week, I think that's too low. And it just sucks, man. It sucks being an SU football fan. I'm just going to wait till basketball season like I always do. And then, of course, because the NCAA, I don't know if there's a program the NCAA hates more than Syracuse University. They make eligible Tez Walker, this receiver for UNC, who's a stud. All of a sudden, he's been ineligible all season. He can't play. Oh, but they got Syracuse. Fire him up. Let's get him. He's back. So he's going to play today because it was a transfer thing, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he went to He went to two different schools. I forget which ones they were, but he didn't play at the first school,
Yeah.
and then he transferred, and then they're trying to say, well, he transferred twice already, and but he didn't play, and it was a whole thing, and now they've reversed it. So
Yeah. Because of course they did. Because UNC has Syracuse this week. And the NCAA's just got to stick it to SU one more time. Like they haven't done that plenty of times in the past. Like how Jim Boeheim had to be the first coach ever to win 1,000 games twice. By the way, people should check out, we put out that tier list. Josh Boeheim and I did it. Full college basketball tier list. I promoted it last week. I'll promote it again this week. Top, I believe it's 27 coaches that we went through and ranked in the history of college basketball. Phil Wolpert's in there. Adolph Rupp, the old school Kentucky coach. Like, we went old school with this list. Lute Olson made an appearance. Denny Crum. Some of the greats. Go and check out that list. Where's Jim Boeheim? In my opinion, right where he should be. We even got, we put Mark Few on there just because. Just so I could sort of talk junk about Mark Few. Win a big game, coward. Refuses to do it.
they won't.
It can't beat St. Mary's half the time. St. Mary's is arguably been just as good of a program in recent years.
I feel the way about Gonzaga that you feel about Texas.
Just, yeah. the way I feel about Texas football, that they're just a joke. Yeah. Fair.
Because every year it's like, oh, Gonzaga's the best team in the country. Gonzaga's going to win the national championship. Gonzaga's going to do this. And they never do.
Yeah, it's easy to go 30-0 when you're playing. I mean, honestly, St. Mary's is the only other team in that conference I can even think of. The Dons, I think San Francisco's in that conference, but they've been good in recent years too. And like, I wanted to make a joke about how bad the rest of the conference is. That's how irrelevant they are. Is I can't even think of the rest of the conference. This is great radio. Me looking up the West Coast Conference just so I can make a joke. Yeah, it's easy when you're beating up on the Pacific Tigers twice a year and the Portland Pilots, Pepperdine. These are the teams that Gonzaga plays. And obviously, they're I will give them credit. They do non-conference scheduling the right way, in my opinion. Because it's always like Kentucky, Texas. Like, they want to play the big programs in their non-conference schedule. And then they go and beat them. And it's, good job. But then they just win 25 games in a row every single year. We expect them, they go into the tournament and it's like, oh, here we go. Gonzaga, they're a 1 seed again. And they lose in the Sweet 16 to, I don't know, App State. Like, just a nobody. Gotta love it. Gotta love college basketball. I am excited for college basketball season. Inching closer and closer. I think the Midnight Madness is coming up. That's like next week, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then they go to, they got that one in Rochester, too. Monroe Madness, which I don't understand why the SU basketball team goes to Rochester.
Is Rochester considered Central New York?
No. If it is, if there's people out there considering Rochester Central New York, there's a real problem. That's borderline Western New York. I would say it is Western New York. But I don't know why they go out there for that. And big news for SU basketball. You got a pretty big name visiting coming up. October 20th to the 22nd. Cayenne Anthony, who is exactly who you think he is, coming to SU for a visit. He's a consensus top 50 recruit in the 2025 class. He is the son of Carmelo Anthony, the savior of SU basketball, some would say. I just really want him to come here. I think, don't you feel differently?
I feel like if he gets here and he's not like a superstar right off the bat, it's going to be hard for him. I feel like he's going to get some like scrutiny and stuff.
That's fair.
Just because of whose kid he is.
Yeah.
And it's like if he was anybody else and he came in and scored like 8 or 9 a game and was like an all right player, I think nobody would care. But I think if he doesn't like exceed expectations, I think he'll have a problem here.
Joe Girard.
Yeah.
If like that's essentially the comparison is Joe Girard came into Syracuse as the leading scorer in the history of men's and women's basketball in New York State. Went to the same college as Jimmer Fredette. Broke all of his records, or same high school as Jimmer Fredette. Broke all of his records, and he was supposed to be the second coming. And he averaged like 15 points a game. He was all right. And SU fans hated him. it, I I could see that happening. I don't think it will with him. That last name carries a lot of weight around here, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
That's
but
what I'm saying.
it's
If
two
he's
it's
not,
two sides of the same coin.
yeah.
Because you think because of the name he'll get even more heavily scrutinized. I think because of the name, no one's gonna want to make Carmelo mad. We can't make Carmelo Anthony mad at us.
That is true.
If we're mean to his son, he'll hate us. Like it's one of those things like you never want to like. It's like making your parent. It's like disappointing your parents. You just feel awful. You make Carmelo Anthony mad. We named a building after him. I think the SU fans would be too scared of pissing off Melo to scrutinize his son too heavily. Just me, maybe, but
maybe that's a good point, though. That's a good point.
like I can just see it now. If Cayenne comes here and his first game goes like 3 of 14 from the field, and SU fans collectively want to say this guy stinks, but we're just like, it's his first game. Give him time. Yeah, maybe he'll be okay. And then he just does that the rest of the year, and everyone's just too afraid to say anything negative.
Now, I'm not saying I think he's going to be bad.
No, I don't know. I think he's going to be quite good.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's that possibility that like if he doesn't come here and like hit right off the bat, that it might not be a good experience for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, he is a consensus top 50 recruit. Coming out of Lutheran High School in Long Island, and I'm just trying to find his 24/7. There we go. 6'4", $185, shooting guard. I mean, he's
good size for a guard.
Yeah, he is good. Which that's SU, baby.
Mm-hmm.
If we get anything, it's guards that could be forwards.
Mm-hmm.
So good size for a 2-guard. His list right now on 24/7 is SU, Florida State, and then Bryant, Dayton, and George Mason. I feel like he should have more buzz around him.
So it's probably, what is he, a sophomore?
Yeah,
Junior?
that's true. Class of 2025, so there's time. Oh no, wait, there it is. That wasn't the full list. Those are just places he's also gotten offers from. Indiana, Michigan, Pitt, Providence, Seton Hall, Tennessee. So he's got a lot of offers.
Now, if he goes to Pitt, there's the problem.
Oh my! If he goes to Pitt, I almost would rather see him go to like UConn than go to Pitt. Oh God, can you imagine? Because here's the thing: if he went to Pitt, you know that he'd be like okay and score 38 points against Syracuse every single time they played.
Yep.
It would be that. Like, I don't go to Providence, go to Seton Hall, go to like a Big East school. That's fine. Please, Cayenne Anthony, if you're listening to this, please, for the love of God, do not go to the University of Pittsburgh. Pitt should be a bigger rival for us.
Mm-hmm.
I think of Pitt almost like I think of Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
That school, that's a big KFC ad. That school just annoys me. It doesn't matter the sport. Doesn't matter if one team's undefeated and the other one hasn't won a game. It's going to be a 5-point game. Or it's going to be tightly contested, physical, every single sport.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a decent chance Pitt will win.
Mm-hmm.
When SU was undefeated, it took a buzzer beater to beat them.
Was that Tyler Ennis?
Yes.
Court? Yeah.
Yeah, that was Tyler Ennis against Pitt. Got a comment from Pat. Mark, you suck. Thanks, pal. That was Tyler Ennis was against Pitt. Every single time. I hate it. I hate Pitt. please don't go to Pitt. That's my plea to you. All right, that'll do it for the SU talk and the first segment. We're going to take a timeout. Phone lines open 315-671-1260 if you want to chime in. Guest free for the rest of the show, so you've got about 40 minutes. Make a call, talk about whatever it is that might be on your mind here on Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
Still need your flu shot?
Pat says we need some picks. I haven't even looked at a lot of the lines today. Let's see what we got. Some of the numbers. Over in Oklahoma, Texas. That's 61.5. There's gonna be 100 points scored in that game. Not touching Ohio State, Maryland. I kind of like Mizzou against LSU.
Yeah, because LSU just hasn't been like LSU.
Yeah, and they're
they
five
lose
and
stupid games.
They're a 5.5 point favorite on the road.
Did you say they're like 3-2 or something?
Yeah, they're 3-2.
What's Missouri?
5-0.
Oh, Missouri might get them.
Yeah, I kind of like Mizzou. In that one, Washington State, UCLA, don't care. Florida State's a 24-point favorite against Virginia Tech. Might take that one. I kind of like A&M.
Who gets Alabama?
Bama. And Bama's just not Bama.
No.
You know? They don't feel like Bama. They don't look like Bama.
We don't even know anybody that plays for Alabama.
Yeah, I was just looking at the quarterback, Weigman. Connor Weigman. Oh, no, that's A&M.
I think his name's Jalen something.
Yeah, who's the quarterback in Alabama?
They started him, then they benched him, then they went back to him or whatever. They had like 3 quarterbacks. His name, I think, is Jalen or something like that. Or
Jalen Milroe?
Yeah, yep, that's him.
Yeah. Pat and I are both equally anti-Brian Kelly as well. That guy stinks. I hate Brian Kelly. I just don't like college football coaches. I wouldn't touch Syracuse UNC, but if I were, I would probably take UNC. Georgia's a 14-point. Georgia's a 14-point favorite, and the over/under in that is 46.5. That's wild.
So, yeah, still, that's like a shutout.
Yeah, like, Michigan's an 18.5-point favorite. That's probably gonna happen. I like the Irish today, Pat. I do like Notre Dame -6.5. I think Louisville are kind of fraudulent. The Cards have not impressed me greatly, so I'd probably take the Irish in that one. My game of the day, Fresno State, Wyoming. I just think that's going to be a fun one. I'd take the over in that. It's at 43. I think there's going to be points scored in that. Mountain West is always fun. So, yeah, there's some picks. Pat says, Georgia are frauds. Let's talk about it. Could be. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. We were just giving some picks during the break. If you want to hear those, check out Twitch stream, YouTube stream. We're there every single week. See a video stream inside the Score 1260 studios here. Talk to us in the chat. You'll be able to talk to us during breaks. Just talking to Pat about my picks for the college football spread today, or board today, I should say. Like the Irish -6.5. That's always a fun one. Notre Dame's quite good, and Louisville I think is, yeah, they're okay. It's weird to say a team's okay when they're 5-0. And I'm just like, yeah, they're all right. 25th ranked team in the country, Louisville. So there you go. We gave a lot of picks. Gamble responsibly, by the way, of course. If you are going to be partaking in some sports wagering, make sure to do so responsibly. Never bet more than you can afford. All that good stuff. Other stuff going on. World of football. Buffalo Bills. Greg Rousseau out this week against the Jags in London. Bills playing at 9:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow across the pond. Essentially a home game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They play there like 3 times a year. So no Greg Rousseau, but maybe, just maybe, Von Miller. Big addition if he does play. Bills need the help on the pass rush. So that would be absolutely huge if they were able to get Von Miller back tomorrow. Jags or Bills are like a 5.5 point favorite, I think, 4.5 maybe. Over there in London, don't hate the Jags. I'm gonna be honest. Bills are good. Just blew out Miami. Like I said, it's kind of a home game for Jacksonville. They're just so used to playing over there. Isn't it a thing because like Tony Khan like brings him over there? He's the owner, right?
Yeah.
Is Khan. He like brings him over there because he's got like businesses over there and stuff, and
because I think he's
because he's also involved with AEW, or at least he was. I don't know if he still is. And there's like a whole thing with that. It's weird the reason the Jags play in London every single year, but it's something to do with Tony Khan. Were you gonna say something? Did you?
No, I just said that because I think he's a foreign guy. He's from overseas.
Yeah, I don't remember where exactly he's from.
Me either.
But yeah, that'll be a big one. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, 9:30 Eastern here in the States. Other news. This is a fun one. WNBA Finals starting this week, and you might be saying, all right, that's not really local. Breanna Stewart looking to win her 3rd WNBA title after, what was it, 4 at UConn? Did she win one every single year?
Won one every year.
And I'm pretty sure she won a state championship at CNS.
I think so, yeah.
She just can't stop winning. Breanna Stewart is beginning to make a case as one of the greatest winners in the history of sports.
She might already be there.
She's getting close, dude. She's still got to track down Kareem. Kareem with the 4 UCLA titles and then 6 in the NBA. Also, the same thing, like won back-to-back state titles in college. There was this wild stat about Kareem. He didn't lose a postseason game until he got to the NBA. He had never lost a postseason game until he played in the NBA.
Well, think about who he was playing at that time. Kareem's what, 7'2"?
Yeah.
So it's like, who's stopping Kareem in 1965?
Buddy, no one had an answer for Lou Alcindor. Let me tell you, that guy was a freak of nature in 1960. Imagine him in high school. You're playing center for, where's Kareem from?
I think he's from New York.
Yeah, he might be from New York. And you're playing center for like some small team in New York.
And you're like 6'3".
Yeah, you're all a 6'3", 6'4", and in walks this big goofy looking guy. He just drops 75 on your head with 40 boards. But anyway, enough Kareem talk. Even though I could talk about Kareem all day. That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rules. Breanna Stewart, like I said, looking to win her 3rd individual title. It will be the first for the New York Liberty. They have not been in the finals since 2002.
Yeah.
So long time coming. They've got the aces. Vegas won it all last year. Big matchup. I know you enjoy the WNBA. Have you been watching any of the playoffs?
I watched. I watched last week.
Mm-hmm.
The Liberty clinch, I think it was. No, it was the Aces clinch.
Okay.
And the only thing I have to say about that is the Liberty. I think they went 2-2 in the
Yeah,
series of
they
the
did.
season, but the Liberty like blew out the Aces
Mhm.
with 2 wins. So
Yeah,
I think the Liberty might have a shot.
I do
More than
too.
people think. That people think the Aces are just gonna come in and run over them, but I don't think so.
I mean, it's one of those things. Finals matchups like this, oftentimes it comes down to the best player.
Mhm.
And the thing is, both of these teams are absolutely loaded.
Yeah,
I mean, we were talking about Brianna Stewart on the side of the Aces. You've got Kelsey Plum. You've got I'm drawing a blank on
Chelsea
her.
Gray,
Chelsea Gray.
Jackie Young,
Yeah,
and Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson was
Yep.
the one that I was thinking of. Asia Wilson, it, who was also just like a stud in college.
Yeah, she was.
I This is gonna be fun. WNBA finals are a lot more fun than people give them credit for. I've said on this show many times that I want to, more people should be interested in watching women's sports, and the WNBA is no exception.
Because they're a respectable league now. Like it's actually entertaining.
It's actually good
Yeah.
now. Like I know that maybe 15 years ago the product wasn't great,
Mhm.
and it had its fans, but it wasn't really a thing. Now, this is a really good product.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of superstar players, like I said. And watch the local kid, Cicero North Syracuse High School, the North Star, Brianna Stewart, who, like I said, already making a case. Like she's just piling up championships,
Mhm.
gold medals in the Olympics. We didn't even mention that. She's got Olympic gold medal. I think she's got titles like overseas because
She was playing.
yeah, most WNBA players play overseas in their off season.
They said they wanted. She was starting a league.
Yes.
Like a 3-on-3, 1-on-1 type league.
Yeah.
Skill competition type thing, so they won't have to go overseas anymore.
I hope that gets off the ground. I really do. Yeah, it was her and I want to say Tarasi is involved as well.
I think too. It was Collier. I don't know how to say her first name. Nefessa or something.
Oh
like that.
yeah. I think it's Nefessa Collier. Yeah, there's a few people getting involved with like trying to start that up, and I would love to see it because I do think it's kind of a shame that they don't really make enough of a living
That
playing.
They have to go.
Yeah,
overseas
playing
every
in
year.
the WNBA, which is owned and operated by the NBA, and they don't make enough money to.
If they can show the big three on TV, they can show that.
Oh, absolutely! You kidding me? Big Three. I remember when the Big Three first started. I was like all in.
Yeah, I'm not even.
Yeah, I haven't cared in years. But when it first started,
It
because
seemed like a cool idea.
because there were guys like Nate Robinson was playing and Brian Scalabrine and Ice Cube was involved. Obviously, it's his thing, and it had all these like names of guys that you remember. I'm a sucker for guys I remember playing their sport again.
Mhm.
I love an old timers game in baseball. Like, hey, I remember him. I'm kind of a moron in that way, where I'm just like, yeah, a guy I know doing thing I know he do. I find that to be quite entertaining. And so I was all in on the Big Three. Yeah, I don't care anymore. I can't believe that's still on CBS. They still televise that.
Somebody's watching it.
Yeah, but they televise that way too often. I see the Big Three all the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, WNBA Finals first game tomorrow, 3 p.m. Should have been yesterday. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Baseball also should have been yesterday
Why yesterday?
because there were no major sports.
On yesterday?
Yeah, we had 2 college football games, like Kansas State.
I think it was Oklahoma State. Because I think
Yeah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State were playing, and then it was like Nebraska
Yeah.
and someone Nebraska State. Oh, Nebraska, Illinois. Like anyone cares about those 2 games. It start the division series of the baseball playoffs, or start the WNBA finals on that day. Get some eyes on it
Mhm.
because, especially like this is more so for the WNBA. A lot of the people that watch it are bettors who have action on it.
Mhm.
So it's like there's barely anything to bet on yesterday. Throw the WNBA on. You'll get a lot more eyes. And it should have started yesterday. But instead, they chose to go up against the NFL. So they'll be playing at 3 o'clock tomorrow. That game will be on ESPN. Maybe ABC as well. I'm not sure.
Probably.
I think they'll do the ABC ESPN thing for the finals. Some news with LeMoyne. Get to this quickly. Jamie Young, new assistant men's basketball coach, 23 years of coaching experience. And the head women's lacrosse coach, Liz Beeville, and their goalkeeper, Paige Crandall, will participate in the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Compete with this that confederacy at the 2023 Women's Super Sixes this weekend. It's being hosted by Lacrosse Canada, and it was started yesterday, actually, going through Sunday in Oshawa, Ontario, and will feature national teams from Canada, Kenya, the United States, and the Haudenosaunee. So big news for LeMoyne Lacrosse there. One more time out. Come back in just a minute. Phone line's open, 315-671-1260, if you want to talk about whatever it is you might want to talk about here on the Score 1260. 315-671-1260.
Hyundai Cicero has tons of Hyundais, tons and tons of them, and more arrive all the time. We're rocking this October. Our showroom and display lots are packed with the full Hyundai lineup. 150 new Hyundais available and a friendly staff to help you find yours. Super selection, fall savings. Come take your pick. That's why more people are shopping Hyundai Cicero at Drivers Village. Shop.
Be quiet, Pat. Said talk about real sports like football and war. Want to talk about the WNBA? I like the WNBA. Also, Pat, if you want to talk about the Bills, now's the time to call. I can't answer your call during the thing. I'm talking. I have to do all the stuff. If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company with 16 brews on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must try. More of a traditional Pilsner, how about the Floatin' on By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with the official beer of Outside the Box Score, Myers Creek. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. Quick high school football update. We had probably the game of the year so far yesterday in high school football. That was the much anticipated Christian Brothers Academy versus Cicero North Syracuse. A little CBA CNS action. CBA taking down the North Stars 34-18. I would have liked to read you out the box score and talk about some of the players, but Syracuse.com did not have a box score for that game. So I don't know what happened. I just know that CBA won, beating CNS. Some other big games yesterday. West Hill beat Jamesville DeWitt 42-0. Yeah.
Whoa.
Those you can't see, Braylon just had a look on his face of just pure shock and awe when I said that score. Your alma mater, Bishop Grimes, beating Thomas Edison High School 16-8 in their 8-man football league. Have you talked about that on air?
No.
It's very strange.
I mean, I guess they just went to 8-man because when I was playing there, we didn't have a lot of kids on the team.
Yeah.
So it was like we didn't know if we were going to have a team every year. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was just easier to go down just because the numbers were so low.
And yeah,
Because
that's
one year we actually didn't have, like my freshman year, I had to play modified because we didn't have a varsity team at all.
huh. Yeah.
Because we only had modified and varsity. So
There was no JV.
no JV, no freshman.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things that I never knew until I heard you talk about it, that Bishop Grimes plays 8-man football. Very, and apparently so does Thomas A. Edison High School.
But
Unless they beat a team that was playing 11 guys, which is much more impressive.
it would be.
That would be insane. You got 3 more, linemen or whatever. So how would it set up?
I'm not sure. I think it's 3 linemen.
Okay.
Quarterback, that's 4.
Yeah.
Running back, then 5. I think it's
2
either
receivers and a tight end.
Yeah, something like that. I think.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen them play. I just
Yeah.
found out that they played 8-man ball, but I really don't know all the particulars of it.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's how it would be. It's really,
But I do think it's like 3 linemen though.
yeah, it sort of feels like pickup.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Playing 8-man. I would probably have a blast doing that. So, hey, picked up a win yesterday. Thomas Edison High School. Casanova beat Bishop Ludden 20-0. We had a rivalry game. Skinny Atlas and Marcellus played yesterday. Skinny Atlas beating the Mustangs 42-21. And few games today. My Corcoran Cougars at noon. Henniger High School. The rivalry of all rivalries. At least for my high school, it is. Always a classic. Always somewhat dangerous. And I'm glad this game is at noon. We had to start having it at 9 a.m. for a while, and they weren't allowing fans. So glad this game is at noon. I don't know if fans will be allowed. It is at Henniger, 12 o'clock kickoff. We've got 3 games at 12 o'clock today. East Syracuse, Manoa, and Central Square. South Louis, West Canada Valley, Westmoreland, and Oriskany play Dolgeville at 1:30, and New Hartford plays Camden at 6:30. Little Saturday night lights out there in the Utica area. Kind of. Camden's not really Utica area, but New Hartford is. Actually, yeah, Camden's definitely Utica area. I'm just remembering my New York State geography. I'm very bad at geography. I don't know if I said that on the show before. I'm awful at it. It took me like 3 hours to name all 50 states once.
I don't think I know all 50 states, but if somebody told me to actually name them, I don't think I could do it right.
I forgot Michigan. I was at 49 for like an hour.
Alphabetical order?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just name them. Don't have to put them in order. It was just name the 50 states. It took me way too long. I totally forgot Michigan. If I forgot Montana or something, it'd be a little more understandable. Because the way I did it was I went through sports teams. I just forgot Michigan. I was like, yeah, the Lions, the Tigers. Couldn't think of the state. It's ridiculous. And I wasn't like 12 when this happened either. This is like 4 years ago, which makes it even worse. But yeah, a lot of high school football going on this weekend. That season's got to be wrapping up pretty soon.
Yeah, this is October.
Yeah.
I think the playoffs start like it's been so long. It used to start like last week of October.
Yeah. What do you play? Like 9 regular season games?
8.
8? Yeah, so they're at 6 now.
Yeah.
So a couple more weeks and then playoffs will start, sectionals, all that good stuff. We'll make sure to keep you updated on that. Next week, we're going to be talking a little soccer on the program, which very, very out there for me, personally. We're going to have Charlie DeMore coming on, talk about West Hill Soccer. He is the goalie for the team. They have played 11 games. Charlie is not allowed a single goal. Ridiculous. They're 11-0, and they have not allowed a single goal. So we're going to talk to him next week, break down that ridiculous streak and what the future might hold for West Hill Soccer. Keeps this up, I don't see how they lose a game. Kyle, we're watching College Game Day here in the studio, and they're about to pick the SU North Carolina game. Can't wait to see just 5 Tar Heels symbols there. Desmond Howard already picked North Carolina. Pat McAfee already picked North Carolina. Baker Mayfield, what are you doing there? North Carolina. Yep. Okay. Herb Street. Yep. Oh, no, that was Corso. So Corso picked North Carolina and Kirk Herbstreit. North Carolina. There it is. 5 picks for UNC.
And the fan vote is 92% North Carolina.
92? I wonder if they just make those up.
Probably.
I think ESPN makes up a lot more numbers than we give them credit for. Their win probability thing before a game, the BPI analytics or whatever it is they call it, it's made up. There's no way that's a real number. They're never right. Anyway, I agree with all of the hosts on College Game Day personally. It's all North Carolina today. Yeah. 9.5 point spread. Probably take the points too. But you can't bet New York college sports in New York. So if you're doing that, I know nothing about it. All right? I won't tell on you, but I know nothing about it. Another time out here on Outside the Box Score. Phone line's still open, 315-671-1260. If you want to call in, talk about whatever it is you might want to talk about. 315-671-1260. If you're a fan of local craft beer, the only place you need to go is Myers Creek Brewing Company with 16 brews on tap at both the Cazenovia and Inner Harbor locations. Myers Creek has the best selection of locally brewed libations in all of central New York. Want a nice hazy IPA? The Velvet Fog is a must-try. More of a traditional Pilsner, how about the Floatin' on By? And for you sour drinkers, the It Takes Blue to Mango. So crack open a cold one with the official beer of Outside the Box Score, Myers Creek.
Have you been wanting to lend a helping hand but aren't sure where to start?
I haven't had Jim in here today. I'm worried. Jim hasn't been in the chat. Jim's always in the chat.
Is that Jim Lurcher?
No, just Jim
Just a guy named
CBW.
Jim?
Yeah, he watches pretty much every week.
I don't know what Simone Biles has been doing, but she obviously must be doing pretty good wherever they are. Because every time I open my phone, I get an ESPN update about Simone Biles.
Yeah, they put a lot of headlines about her out.
Silver today, but it's the last week, it's all Simone Biles does this,
Yeah.
Simone Biles does that, Simone
Well,
Biles.
even yeah, and Rebecca Andrade wins vault. Oh, it's the World Championships. Okay. Denied Biles a 22nd world title. I've said this before. She's not talked about enough as one of the 5 greatest American athletes ever. If we're including Olympics and stuff like that, Phelps, Ali, Kareem, Biles,
And I think if she didn't have that spell where she was going through stuff,
yeah.
she might have been at 30 by now.
She is ridiculous. Just imagine being that good at anything. Anything. Let alone gymnastics. And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. Go national for a second. It's the baseball playoffs, baby. I love October baseball. Obviously, people know I'm a baseball guy anyway, but October baseball brings me a lot of joy. And we've got count them four, really great games today. 1 o'clock, not too long after the show ends. Texas Rangers taking on the Baltimore Orioles. That one's going to be played in Baltimore. 4:45, Twins Astros. Phillies Braves at 6 o'clock. And at 9:20, the Diamondbacks take on the Dodgers. First of all, love that there's two divisional matchups in this. Phillies Braves, Diamondbacks Dodgers. When division rivals play each other in the playoffs, it's always fun. Always a good series. Like, the Diamondbacks are 84-78. The Dodgers went 162. And that's probably going to be a good series. Merrill Kelly versus Clayton Kershaw in that pitching matchup, by the way. We got Brett Ober for Minnesota taking on Verlander, former Met, going for the Houston Astros. Ranger Suarez, game one starter for Philadelphia against Spencer Strider. And Andrew Heaney gets the ball for the Rangers against Kyle Bradish of the Baltimore Orioles. I was about to say, I think the World Series winner comes out of this group. Of course they do. I think the World Series winner probably comes out of Baltimore this year.
You think so?
I think those are the two teams in the American League that can do the most damage, Baltimore and Texas. So one of those teams, I think, will be representing the American League in the World Series. And are they going to have to get through Atlanta? Probably, yeah. Atlanta won 104 games in the regular season. They've got the MVP in Ronald Acuna Jr. I don't see it. I don't know why. Like Spencer Strider pitching tonight. He was great all year. He had like a 3.7 ERA. He struck out everybody and their sister, but he tends to blow up a bit in big games. And if he does that, I don't know. I mean, I could see the Phillies taking this series. The Phillies seem to have the juice right now. Citizens Bank Park was rocking during the wild card round. Bryson Stott hit they were up 3-0, and then Bryson Stott hit a grand slam to put them up 7-0. You would have thought he walked them off and with a grand slam. That place was absolutely going nuts. Lee Corso just picked Arizona State to beat Colorado today. Isn't Arizona State like one of the worst teams in football or in college?
It depends. I don't know how they are this year because some years they're decent.
In recent years, they've been quite bad, I feel.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, baseball. Very excited. Tune in. Like I said, 1 o'clock. All these games the American League is on Fox Sports 1. And the National League is on TBS. So the entire wild card round was on ESPN. They only have the rights to the wild card round. Now it'll be between Fox, FS1, and TBS moving forward. 1 o'clock, 4:45, 6 o'clock, and 9:20. One more time out. Come back, wrap things up here on Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the Score 1260. For the best local beer in Central New York, the only place you need to look is Myers Creek Brewing Company, with 16 different beers on tap at both the Inner Harbor in Syracuse and the Palace that is the Cazenovia location. Myers Creek has something for everyone. Want a bite to eat? Both locations feature a kitchen with delicious pizzas, some of the best wings in Syracuse, and much more. Make sure to check out our friends at Myers Creek Brewing Company, the official bar of Outside the Box Score.
For all your commercial and residential waste removal and recycling.
Oh, Megan Rapinoe finally hung him up, huh?
Oh, she retired.
Yeah. Never liked her. Just never did. Like, it's not even like it's not the cause. It's not anything like that. I fully support like a lot of the things she says. I just don't like her. I don't know, man. It's just something about her. Oh, Ohio State's without their top running back today. Good thing they're playing Minnesota or Maryland. Maryland stinks. Oh my God. David Bakhtiari needs another knee surgery?
Yeah, I think they said it's his 5th one.
Yeah. His 5th since 2020. God, he won't be able to walk. I was kind of surprised he didn't find his way to the Jets.
Me too.
Him and Rodgers are buddies.
I think if Rodgers hadn't got hurt, it might have been like a mid-season thing. But now it's like.
And we're back outside the box score with me, Mark Rowlands, your home for local sports in Syracuse, right here on the score 1260. Just about wrapping up a fun-filled hour. Braylon and I were just talking in the break. There's like these rumors that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to come back and play this season for the Jets. Tore his Achilles in week 1. An injury that not only historically, but quite famously puts you out for whatever season you're playing.
If he does it, though, he'll be a legend. You can't say anything about Aaron Rodgers after that.
I
Biggest
will
legend in sports after that.
If he comes back this year from a torn Achilles, I will eat so much crow about everything I've ever said about Aaron Rodgers. But it's all you can't do that. I've seen some Jets fans like analyzing the way he's been walking. Like, he looks nice and mobile. It's only 2 weeks after after his surgery. I had Achilles surgery. I couldn't walk like that 2 weeks later. You're not an NFL quarterback. You probably couldn't walk like that. He's one of the greatest athletes in the world. That's why he can walk like that. And no, he's not going. And also, people are like, yeah, I've never seen that before for an Achilles. Everyone can walk like that, 2 weeks after you tear your Achilles. At least football players can, because medicine isn't stuck in the 1960s. Like, we're not using like herbal remedies to clear these up. Achilles surgery has come a long way. You can actually play football on a torn Achilles. It more so hampers your ability to move left and right than it does move forward. Like, if you're a wide receiver, if you just run verts the entire time, you could probably still play. But he had surgery. He's not coming back. He'll be back next year. Can we stop?
45 years old. He'll be back next year.
Your team stinks. Yeah, and he'll be 58 years old. Your team's bad anyway. You have a bad quarterback. Now, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is bad, but Zach Wilson is pretty much confirmed bad. Just give it up. Just give up on this year, Jets fans. I'm sorry. You had hope. A slight glimmer of hope. You had it at the start of the season. It's over.
I don't think they would have been. They would have been okay, but probably not Super Bowl winning.
No. Anyway, that'll do it for this edition of Outside the Box Score with me, Mark Rowlands. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Braylon Noble for being here. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel, 11 a.m. right here on the Score 1260. Peace.